All right, now that we have a project, let's learn how to get it up and running and test this little website that we have. Whenever that Django admin creates a new project, it actually gives us the bare bones that we need to get started. So let's move back to the terminal here, and you'll notice I'm in my terminal looking at the desktop, but I need to get into this directory called word count, this directory, this folder. So I'm going to use cd and then give the name of word count here. That's going to move me in, and now you can see I'm inside of word count. So if we do an ls here, you should see there's something called manage.py, and there's also a word count. So it's this manage.py which ultimately lets us sort of start our website up, and this manage.py will grab all the applicable files from this word count directory inside of here, everything that we need. And so what we're going to do is we're going to type python3 space manage py space, and then we want to say run server. So if we go ahead and type that all out, hit enter on this, this is going to start up a little web server on our computer that is sort of hosting our Django project. So if you want to see what this looks like, you can see it started the development server at http 127.0.1, all this stuff, right? So if you want to, go ahead and just copy this, then open up a web browser, go ahead and paste that in and hit enter. And boom, if you see a screen like this, this means your website is up and running here on your local computer. We've got this really cool rocket ship. This is actually, although it's so small, one of the great things about Django 2.0 is that this welcome screen is just a lot happier and interactive. The last one was just kind of like, your site's up. This one, kind of exciting to look at. But anyways, it's basically just telling us that this is working. So if you're wondering kind of how this all happens, well, on our terminal here, when you say I want to run the server, it's sort of listening for any request to the website. And when you type in your 127.0.0.1, anytime you have that inside of a web browser, that's referring back to your own computer. So if you've ever done any other web development, you'll be familiar with that number. And then the colon there, if you're wondering, I've never seen a website with a colon, this gives a port number. So typically the port number with any website is 80. That by default is just there. For example, if we go to like google.com:80, you can see it's going to bring up the regular old google.com. But it's just, you don't have to include that colon by default. But because ours is running on port 8000, we do have to specify that there. So this is basically saying, go to our own computer on port 8000, which then this web server that we're running gives back this page that you see right here. So if we go ahead and like cancel out of this run server here, if we hit like Control C, that's the way to get out of it. Control C, just right together. You can see it's stopped running there. And if I try and reload this page, it's going to give me an error. But if I want to start back up the server, I just hit the up arrow to get my last command, hit enter. You can see it starts up the server again, and I can reload the page. Boom, I get this awesome welcome screen. Okay, so that's all it takes to get a new project up and running in Django. I would like to talk about for a moment some of the last things that we've done. If we go back to the terminal here, when we wanted to start a new project, and so we did the, I'm trying to find it here, Django-admin start project word count, and then, you know, when we wanted to make our app run and we want to do the python3 manage py run server, right? These are very specific commands here, and you may be wondering like, oh my goodness, like how am I going to remember all of these? Well, I have that Django cheat sheet for you that you should have downloaded in the last lecture. But beyond that, I want to talk about a big misconception in programming. And that's that as a programmer, you have everything memorized in your mind, and coding is just this 100% just typing, and you make something, boom, that's it. It's really not the case. In fact, there's a lot of specific technical details that you have to do when you're coding, and everything has to be exactly right, and you shouldn't have to have those things memorized in your mind. Google is such an awesome tool. We can always search for the things that we need to. This course is going to be an awesome tool for you, so never feel the pressure of thinking, oh, how am I going to remember to write down always like, you know, Django-admin, blah, blah, blah. No, whenever you have a question, you forgot how to do something, Google it, come back, look at this course, whatever it is that you've got to do. Just know that it's no requirement at all that you should have this stuff memorized. In fact, I think it's very counterproductive. What is it worth if you have everything memorized, but you're not learning new things? You're not creating more websites. You should be more about creating and have access to the tools that you need through a quick search, rather than just trying to memorize everything. That's my opinion on the situation. But anyways, this is probably a good place to stop here. In the next one, I'm going to be giving you a breakdown of how the whole project directory looks like, what each piece is for, and then we'll just keep moving forward.